going on? This is Will, guitarist for Lord. I'm here to talk to you about our brand new full-length album, Desperation Finds Hunger in All Men. Um, as far as I'm concerned, to me, this is the culmination of everything that we've been shooting for since the Alive in Golgotha EP. It's all the experimentation that we did on Awake and Blacklisted, and the more we kept stretching our parameters of what we were capable of, to me, this is where it came to fruition, where we really capitalized on all of that and pushed everything in. I mean, it's definitely the most extreme album in every direction that we've ever done. The softest material, the most intense material. I mean, it's across the board, super intense, progressive, just extreme. You know, and to me, it was the album that after the last several releases, we kind of felt like we needed to shit or get off the pot, basically. But what I mean by that is saying, like, you know, we've been striving, we've been tapping into the potential of this band for years, but never, in my eyes, or I think in any of our eyes, have really hit the mark fully until we did this record. To me, it's definitely the pinnacle of our recorded output so far. I think we've really have stretched the parameters out there of what we're able to do, and we've freed ourselves up now with this release to basically go wherever we want to go. I recently had a conversation with a friend of mine. She does a lot of the booking in Baltimore, and she had described us as being a band that it's hard to nail down, hard to book, because what works for us also works against us, and that's our willingness to basically do whatever we want, sonically, lyrically, and just kind of not be bound to any box or genre. And that's, to me, it's something we've always done, but it's definitely more obvious now than it's ever been. So I mean, if that's a detriment of the band, then it's something that I'm willing to go down with the ship for. I mean, to me, I'd rather be free to do whatever we want and not be confined to any genre or parameter. You know, a lot of our, you know, this is a discussion we had with the guys not too long ago about, you know, our favorite bands, whether it's Led Zeppelin or Queen or the Beatles or whoever. You know, they never thought in terms of, you know, we're this kind of band or we're that kind of band. They just wrote songs, you know. And to me, a lot of these genre specifications that people feel confined to, or to me, it's self-limiting. Well, there's no point in that. You should just be able to write music that transcends anything, and the only thing you're really doing is you're tapping into your emotions and trying to get that across. So, I mean, I don't know. I've never understood why people would limit themselves in that way. But I mean, for us, it's we're hitting the ground running on this one. We're really not trying to confine ourselves to anything, and we're stretching out as far as we can. And whatever we go, to me, it's still going to be Lord. I mean, it's always been something that we've done from the get-go and will continue to do. So, very proud of what we've done on this release. I think it's going to surprise a lot of people. Whether people will stay along for the ride remains to be seen, but to me, I don't think we've done anything on this record that if you were paying attention to what we're doing, you wouldn't have seen coming. But hope you enjoy what you hear.
For me, one of the big differences in recording this album was being able to take our time recording it, which turned out in a tremendously better production.
Yeah. Usually when we've always kind of taken the punk rock approach that we'll just hold up in the studio for 2 days, knock out a full record, and move on. I mean, this is the first time, I think, in the band's existence that we've really taken the time to go in, track everything, listen to it, nitpick, pick it apart, you know, like really take the time to make sure that everything was where it needed to be. From guitar tones to bass tones to the drum performance. That was another big thing I wanted to touch upon, was bringing Tony into the band. I think had a big effect on the way this record came out. Obviously, a lot of those riffs were already coming to us. There was when we fully decided to go ahead and make this a full length, when we sat down and wanted to make this a record, we didn't go into it going, okay, we're going to shoot in this direction. It was just, we wrote everything that came to mind. So it was a very organic way of writing. And trying to get everything through our filters and have it be as cohesive as possible. And working with Tony in the studio elevated our game of what we were able to do before. And to me, it's probably the cleanest production we've ever had. But I think it works for the material, being that the material is as progressive as it is. We needed to have a clearer production so you can hear all the nuances and all the little subtle things that are in the mix that I think had we had gone with a different producer this time around, those little things probably would have been lost in the mix. So we wanted to make sure that everything was clear, up front, in your face, and we want it to be one of those records where every time you listen to it, something else comes at you. There's different layers to it, and it's a very cerebral record. It's probably the most cerebral record we've ever done, in the sense that it's not something that's easily digestible, and it's not something you're probably going to get on the first listen. But to me, those are always the records that stick with you, the ones that you really take the time, digest them, and live with that record, and it becomes something that stays with you for a very long time.